So welcome everybody. This is the May 30, 2024 webinar, and it's a day in the life of four wonderful presenters. Thank you so much for coming and giving your time. So I will start with acknowledging the Aranda people of Central Australia and paying respect to the elders here and for the lands that I live, work and play, and just acknowledging that it's unceded lands that I'm living on. And so today we have three presenters, and there will be just a slight pause in between each presentation while before I do the introduction, and each presenter will share their slides. So first up we have Dr. Puva Arumugam. Apologies if that pronunciation was not quite correct. So I will just introduce Puva. Puva is a third space academic, lecturer in Learning Futures at Deakin University, Faculty of Business and Law Learning Innovations team. Her discipline area is theatre and cultural studies, and her creative work often addresses issues pertaining to marginalised communities in Southeast Asia, Australia. In her current role, she leads and is part of several faculty-based unit course redevelopment projects, advises on university-wide learning and teaching initiatives, best practices, engages in the scholarship of teaching and learning within and outside Deakin, and is a regular contributor to the events organised by both Herzer and Ascalite. Puva is a senior fellow of the Higher Education Academy, and her research interests include unpacking the facets surrounding professional identity of the third space practitioners, higher education student learning experiences, and mental well-being of higher education staff and students. Over to you, Puva.
Thank you, Wendy. I'm going to just start sharing my screen first.
Yeah, I can see that. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks for this opportunity. I am really glad that I can be part of this webinar. It's wonderful to see very many familiar faces. I wish to begin by acknowledging that I am joining from the Wurundjeri country of the Eastern Kulin Nation, and I pay my respects to elders and ancestors for allowing me to have my presentation and attend this webinar on their land, acknowledge their continuing connection to this beautiful country, and thank them for the care and custodianship over many thousands of years. I extend this respect to First Nations colleagues who are joining us today. I know we have a few speakers today, so I'm going to jump straight into it. Wendy did ask me to start by explaining why I call myself a third space academic. Well, let me put a caveat out there. This is a very Puva thingy. So by the end of my explanation, if you resonate with me, thank you. But if you don't, just saying it's a very personal Puva thingy. For those of you who know me and have seen me and work with me at Deakin, you would see in my presentations, I always refer to myself as a third space academic. I refuse to be known under any other terms. I don't tell people I'm an academic developer or I am supporting learning design, so on and so forth. That's because for me, this is my professional identity. This is the actual nature of my role. I'm employed as an academic in a higher education institution. I'm not a discipline-based academic, and I'm not in a professional role. My institution expects me to fulfill academic loads of teaching, service, and research. These expectations, therefore, defines what I do, what I should do, and how I carry myself when I'm in this role. And to be recognized for the work that I do is very important to me, both culturally and professionally. It didn't happen from the start. Like when I first started, I did tell people that I'm a lecturer at Deakin. And the minute you tell them that you're a lecturer at Deakin, they ask you, what do you teach? So then I tell them I don't teach students actually. I work with discipline-based academics and I support them in their learning and teaching practice. Then they go, oh, I see, you are a TA. Then I said, no, I'm not. Then they say, oh, you're the person who does that admin and tech support in the classroom, right? While the lecturer is lecturing. Then I say, no, I'm not. Then we go down a rabbit hole full of what I'm not rather than what I am. Then I try and help them. I say, look, I actually provide learning design support. I'm an academic lead in some of the projects, this and that. You must be so smart with computers. I know. I know what you do. You look at our unit site and all that, then you make things flashy, you do magic. Yes. Then I said, boy, I'm now in the category of David Copperfield. So I am not. So to put a stop to all of that, I've decided the best way to define what I do is to tell people that my identity is that I'm a third space academic. This was even before I started my research in this area. So I hope that explains why I call myself a third space academic. And of course, let me just, it is a contentious space. People have told me that, you call yourself a third space academic. It's a very contentious space, and it is. It is contentious because this term was not originated to describe workers in the education system who seem to function in the intersection of two very well-defined roles of discipline-based academics and professional staff. Notes ready. Yeah. Homi Bhabha, a post-colonial theorist, used this term to describe the identity struggles experienced by migrants who were finding themselves in the stairways of dual or multiple identities when they move from their parent country to another country or other countries. And it is a tough space to be in. There will be challenges, there will be tensions before one feels, they've acculturated or, they feel that they have been adapted to form a new identity. And in most cases, it's a hybrid identity. The same concept of a group of education workers dwelling in the liminal space was brought to the fore by Celia Wischurch in her papers of 2008 and 2010. Prior to that, there were many other papers that described us, and they were calling us boundaryless academics, homeless academics. But I guess when Celia Wischurch used this term to describe the identity, it sort of, described the role diffusion, the premise that many of us in this webinar occupy as we function almost on an autopilot stage, juggling our roles that expands and contracts in the realm of providing education support, academic teaching and learning support, library support, research support, curriculum development support to discipline-based academics in this higher education space. Sadly, or maybe not so sadly, depending where you are in the third space, most of us are still trying to define what this role means to not only us, but to those who work with us. So that is why I call myself a third space academic. And that's my preamble. I'm a theatre person. I've set the scene. Now the spotlight's on me, and you want to know what my day looks like, right? I have a very exciting role. I tell you, it's so exciting. I have never experienced the same day twice. Never in all these years. In fact, I call out to my colleague who's in this group, Mahin. He sits next to me in the office and he has the same title. We attend the same meetings, sometimes on the same day, and both of us have never experienced the same day, the same way. So that's how exciting this role is. There's never a dull day. Always something is blowing up. Always something needs fixing. Always someone needs talking to. I am forever talking to the screen or talking to people along the walkways. And this is a role not for the faint-hearted, and it's a very collaborative role. There. So what does my day look like, given that context? In a day, I could be doing several things. I'm in charge of, in my current role, I'm actually leading the unit development of 8 core units in the MBA program. So I could start with a high-level mapping workshop, and that could spend between 2 hours to 4 hours. And in there, I would have the course director of the MBA, I would have the teaching team, I would have colleagues, learning design colleagues with me, I would have colleagues from Deakin Learning Futures who are taking care of, multimedia, graphic. All of us would sit together, we would unpack what's exactly needed for this redevelopment. And we could go on from, it could range from doing constructive alignment, looking at assessment design, talking about student retention, talking about student experience, teaching experience, so on and so forth. And then I could walk out of that meeting, and then I would meet a staff or someone, my other colleague, who says, I actually need some training, or I need some professional learning in this and that. And I would go back to my team and I would say, okay, guys, we have this opportunity. What are we going to do? So we could be developing staff capacity building sessions. And because I'm looking after these units and the redevelopment, I'm also wearing a hat of stakeholder manager and project manager. So in my calendar, I'll have lots of due dates. I need to chase this person. I have to ask for this. I have to find out this. And they're all very important and top priority for me. Unfortunately, at the other end, for the discipline-based academics that I work with, they put my name next to a bin. So they get an email, Puva, bin, Puva, bin, Puva, bin. All my emails go to the bin. It takes me a while to realize that no one's responding because of that. Then I meet up with them along the hallway and say, have you seen my emails, by the way, or I'm needing this and that. So we have that sort of conversation, and we get that done. I also engage in scholarship of teaching and learning. I look up for areas where my discipline-based academics are doing best practice or doing something nice in their teaching, where they're incorporating, that they can be exemplars. So I would meet up with them and have a chat. Maybe I'll do a podcast with them, or I'll write something, a blurb for a newsletter. That happens as well. And remember, in my role, I am supposed to do teaching, service, and research. That research is only 20% of my component, but that's the determining factor. If I ever were to apply for promotion, that's what they look at. So I also do research. So I engage with my colleagues. I do third space academic identity research. I work with other colleagues on student assessment, student mental well-being and assessment choices. I am involved in several projects, so I make time for that. I also attend a lot of community of practices because I am the rep from business and law learning innovations teams to see how we can, embed and integrate First Nations knowledges and practices in our teaching. So I would sit in some of the community practices that's happening university-wide. And then I engage with external committees like Escalite and Hertzer. I'm the Escalite Big Exec member. So recently we arranged an event. So I could be ordering catering. I could be talking to finance about invoices. I could be talking to presenters for the event. Yeah, that's all can happen in a day. Hope you've enjoyed having a sneak peek into my day, and I'll stop sharing and we can have a chat.
Thank you so much, Puva. That was a great presentation. Please show your appreciation by using the emoticons if you've got that, or the real, these kind of things. And if there's any questions for Puva, you can put it into the chat, but we will move on to the next presenter. So our next presenter is Diana Turnip from the University of New South Wales, and her title, as given to me, is Educational Developer for the Nexus program. So with over 15 years of diverse experience in higher education, specialising in academic course support services and project coordination, Diana has expanded her skills to focus on developing innovative learning and teaching practices using online learning technologies. This journey has led her to the Nexus program at the University of New South Wales. It's a creative initiative to enhance education by facilitating collaborative, streamlined, and agile changes within each faculty and school. As an education developer for the Faculty of Medicine and Health, her role is pivotal in assisting the translation of university-wide initiatives into localised solutions to meet the required needs and changes. She's dedicated to contributing towards implementing a sustainable cross-faculty co-design process for educational innovation and improvement. Thank you, Diana. Over to you.
Yes. Thank you once again, Wendy, and thank you for your warm welcome. And hi, everyone. My name is Diana Turnip. So today I'm joining this webinar from UNSW campus at Kensington. I would like to acknowledge the Bidjigal peoples whose land I'm working on and do this presentation today as well. So thank you for having me in this forum to share my day in the life of an educational developer, which I'm just recently do in the last year. So I'm part of the Nexus program within the Faculty of Medicine and Health. So So this is what happened at the start of my journey as an educational developer. So some people say, is this real? And then I said, yeah, this is real. So when I started my journey as an educational developer, I found myself at a crossroad of explanation what I do. So my mom asked me, what do you do in this new job? And I said, I teach teachers. Sounds simple, right? But there is much more to it. Then soon I get a text message from my brother to find out more from my conversation with mom. I told him, I support academics in a number of ways, mostly related to teaching and learning. I guess that description is better, but not great. It's a start, but it doesn't quite tell the whole story. Next, an old colleague was curious too. I might have gotten a bit carried away with phrases like, I'm a catalyst of change, a sponsor for innovation, a matchmaker, a builder of processes, an infectious germ of transformation. A bit over the top, I admit. So how about you all? What comes in your mind when you heard the term educational developer? Are you picturing what I do to be the same as what you do? Today, let us explore the many hats of an educational developer. First, let's consider some of the various titles that you might have encountered, such as instructional designer, learning designer, curriculum specialist, teaching and learning specialist, or higher education professional. These titles reflect diverse aspects of our role, ranging from designing curricula to enhancing teaching practices. But what does this title truly mean in the context of our work? The term educational developer captures the essence of our broad scope. It's not just about curriculum or pedagogy. It's about fostering growth and innovation in higher education. We are definitely not just a tech gurus or course fixer. Our role is not a one-size-fits-all solution. The reality is much more dynamic. As educational developer, we take a holistic approach, collaborating closely with academics and students to tailor solutions that meet unique needs. So we are not just implementing change, we are part of a larger conversation about the future of education. So the role of an educational developer is complex and ever evolving. And we wear many hats, and our work profoundly impact the academic environment. I would say that we are the bridge between theory and practice, innovation and tradition, technology and pedagogy. So let me share with you a glimpse of what I do. As part of a medicine and health education development unit within the faculty, which some of my colleagues are here in the talk today to give me a support. Thank you so much. All right. Typically, this is my daily task and responsibility. Such as curriculum design and development. So we design and revise course content to ensure alignment with learning outcomes. And then we also do staff capability building and training. We conduct training sessions, introducing innovative teaching methods to our faculty. We also do consultation. We engage in discussion with academics to address and troubleshoot teaching challenges. We also do research, education, innovation, and technology. We make sure we stay updated with the latest educational trends and pedagogical research to inform our practices. And we also do technology integration. We lead the implementation and support of a new technology that's being in place at the university. Another chunk of my day is fostering collaboration by supporting academics within the faculty and across the university via the Nexus program. Through collaborative partnership, we work alongside with academics to enhance the educational process and create a more enriching learning environment for students. We do resource provision. We provide an array of tools, resources, and guidance to enhance teaching effectiveness. Our goal is to empower academics with the necessary resources to excel in their roles. We also give constructive feedback as it is essential for continuous improvement in teaching practices. So we involve in various community practices to share feedback, ensuring that we evolve and provide platform for collective improvement. Finally, my role within the Nexus program, which I also thankful that I've been introduced to Escalate by our Nexus fellow, Chris Campbell, who is in this call as well. Most of you know her. And the Nexus program is inherently creative and transformative. Here, how we, the Nexus folks, academic and professional, the educational developers from across university contribute to innovation advocacy. So we champion creative approaches to teaching and learning, pushing the boundary of traditional education. The aim is to elevate the student experience by sharing good practice of educational innovation across the university. We also do change management by guiding academics through the complex process of pedagogical change. Right. We ensure a smooth transition and support are provided as academics adapt to changes in technology and education. And as a visionary influencer, so as a part of the Nexus program, we inspire a shared vision for the future of education as our leadership drive innovation and positive change across the university. So here is just a bit of a reflection from my end. So reflecting on my days as an educational developer the last year in UNSW, I am grateful for being part of this collaborative innovation approach in the Nexus program to implement a sustainable co-design process for education. Tailoring university-wide initiative to meet the unique needs of the Faculty of Medicine and Health where I work. So I'm also excited about the potential of cross-disciplinary collaboration, being able to potentially working together with other parts of the university in UNSW, different people from different faculty, knowing that this effort will significantly enhance the quality and the depth of our teaching and learning experience. So you can read more about our program there, like in the slide. And yeah, that's it from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Diana. That was a great presentation, and I love that last slide with such a wide variety of you know, people, collection of people, but situations that cover your work. Thank you very much. So there is a question there in the chat. Is there a link to the program? And just a reminder for yourself and Puva, if you wanted to put in links for how people can connect with you, that would be great as well. Thanks again.
I also had a question. So actually probably two questions. Are you in a professional or an academic position, Diana?
I am in a professional position. So I'm hired here at the university as an educational developer. Yeah, okay. So, and that is a professional role here at UNSW.
Okay, because there does seem to be a lot of similarities to the academic developer
True.
position. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
And my follow-up question was, and you may have actually answered it since I popped it in the chat, but what would you say the proportion, the breakdown of the time you spend sort of helping teach teachers and helping do sort of learning design, kind of curriculum design work, roughly?
Mm, it must like I think it's vary. I guess all the like it will be different week by week. And in terms of our educational development unit at the faculty, we actually have what we call, like, I don't know if I would say use the word mainstream. Right. We have there are people allocated for each different school that do all the typical day-to-day, like all of the course design and development role. So I'm in for the Nexus program. So that's a little bit, I guess it's a little bit different. So however, I might be doing a support for the faculty doing those implementation that comes through from the Nexus program and the priority that comes in from the program itself. So yeah, so hopefully that's answering your question.
Thank you. It did.
Thank you. So yes, if there's any other questions for Diana now.
And thank you, Chris, for putting in the link about the Nexus program into the chat. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Great. Well, we'll move on to the last two presenters, and I will share my screen. So we have Colleen and Naomi in the room, and I'll just give them a brief introduction. So Colleen is a passionate educator currently focused on transforming educational experiences in higher education learning spaces and building academic capability. She specialises in co-creating digital learning objects and resources that promote engaging learning experiences with academics for students. She's empathetic, just-in-time support resource for staff who can troubleshoot tech issues and explore and develop innovative learning ideas. Using a combination of this personalised approach and delivering interactive online collaborative sessions across campuses, she empowers academics to discover and utilise current and emerging technologies for enhanced learning experiences. Welcome, Colleen. And Naomi, with a background in vocational and corporate training, Naomi is a relatively newcomer to training and teaching in higher education. Having been a serial student over the course of the last decade or so, she has been on the receiving end of a variety of different learning experiences, which has made her passionate about the importance of effective and engaging learning experiences. Welcome, Naomi. I will stop sharing and over to you guys.
Thank you. Now, give me a second while I share my screen. Right. Okay. So you can see my screen, Wendy? Yep, all good. Awesome. Well, we thought we'd be a little bit different, and rather than a PowerPoint presentation, we would show you one of the learning technologies that we actually use here at JCU. Colleen or Wendy, if you could share the link in the chat, that would be great. So feel free. This is something for you guys to have a look at, to explore along with me, or to just explore after this session. So James Cook is a regional university with campuses in Townsville, Cairns, Singapore and Brisbane, and we have some satellite campuses for some of our programs. Okay, the academy consists of 6 colleges, and we sit across those 6 colleges, and each of our learning technology advisors is loosely based in 2 colleges, although we do work across the whole academy. So who are we? let's have a look and find out who we are. So we're academy based, so that means we're in with academics. We're sitting in their offices in the same buildings with them. We offer at elbow support, interactive sessions, things like that. Our main remit is to improve the digital literacy and capability of our academic staff. We're a unit that's only been around for about 18 months, and we're slowly building up our presence across the university. We have an equivalent of about 8.5 FTE across the 2 campuses, and we have 4 major components to our work, which we'll speak about today. So we transform, support, educate, and discover. So I'll take you through that journey. I'll take you through some of it, and I'll hand over to Colleen to assist with some of it as well. So discover. So we find, acquire, and test the latest technologies, current and emerging, which can be adapted for learning. And we provide a repository of cutting edge tools, apps for academics to explore. We help discover the new technologies, to teach, to trial, and to pilot. Now, if you've reached this stage with us, you can go through and click on each of these tags to find out a bit about the learning technology we use, how it's used at JCU, and then these plus signs provide you with an exemplar of what we do. So this is pretty cool. We like to show this to academics because it shows the broad range of technologies that are available. So not only do we discover new technologies, not only do we have academics come to us and ask us to discover new technologies and really take some of that time load that it takes to explore new technologies. Does it work? Will it work? Those sorts of things. We also discover what technology is being used across the academy by other academics. Over our 18 months, we have found that lots of different academics are using lots of different technologies that no one knows about. And so we'll go exploring something and then we'll find out, we'll go exploring a new technology and then we'll find out someone's already been using it somewhere else in the university. And so we're actually a team that is collating all of that. So an academic will come to us and say, I've heard about this technology, tell me about it. And we can say, go and talk to that academic. They've been using it. They can tell you about their academic experience and their student experience. So that's where we sit with the discovery of technologies. And I'll hand over to Colleen to talk about the education aspect.
Thanks, Naomi. So one of the other things that we pride ourselves on doing is providing this at elbow support, either in person or virtually through Teams or Zoom. So this is been considered to be a proven win in the way our team works, because people don't read all their emails, as Puva said, and they go to the bin. So what we're hoping to do is to wander around, be visible, and be able to support people at elbow. And they can simply do a quick email to us with a book now button on the email that says book a time or give us a call. So what we're providing is that elbow support without going through a long ServiceNow request, filling out a form, doing lots of things that potentially stops people from contacting us. The other thing we do is provide what are considered to be our interactive online sessions. So academics will come to us and there might be some exams coming up and they have to develop an online exam. So we run some training sessions. And the way we run them is that we ask people to walk along with us, open up their particular technology and build something in the session with us so that they're actually getting some hands-on experience rather than just come to a presentation and then have to go and find some more time to work on something. So we think that's really successful in terms of what we do. So because we've only been relatively new, our work across the academy is something that we're trying to track to make sure that, you know, we can build our team and B, build that capability by getting more and more people to be able to do this particular third space role. And as Puva said, you know, our day is absolutely like hers. It's different every day. And Diana has made that same example. So we have that role in education. The next thing that we do is probably, and it's probably very well connected, is we do some of that support. So Puva said she's not an IT specialist, neither are we really, but we do have people who have a bit more savviness than academics. And so what we do is, that's okay, we troubleshoot. So somebody's got a particular issue with something, a student's complained and doesn't know, they don't know how to do it, so they'll contact us. So our job is to not work directly with students, but with academics so that they become capable in doing some of this initial troubleshooting. And as you would well know, there are academics who are all along that spectrum. And I love the Diana's thing about the infectious germ. I used to call myself a virus until COVID came, and then I thought perhaps that's not really very appropriate. However, we also advise on potential solutions. So people come to us and say, look, I want to do I'm doing role plays in my face-to-face class, but I want to do it online for my students who are online. How can I do that? What have you got? Can you build something and talk to me about what's available? So we also provide live streams for some of those activities where we're trying to connect our students and our professions. So we run law seminars. Well, we don't run law seminars. We actually help in the support of these law seminars so that we've got a quite lovely connection building across the professions with our academics and with our students, which is vitally important for that student experience. And I guess the other thing that we do and we pride ourselves on is the idea of advocating. So we are there to advocate for our academics. So if they need more time or if they need a new technology or they need some support, we very strongly help them. And if it's a grant application, we'll help them do that as well. Not necessarily in our remit, but it's actually useful for us. So we sit within a sort of a bubble of things, but we do lots of other support things. Our mantra is basically, if we can help an academic improve the learning experience for our students, then we're happy to do it. And so that's the idea. These are the sorts of bookings that we've had. So if you were back here in October, so there was 2,300 requests for help and support, which is more than there would have been in 3 years ago because we didn't exist. So that's really the sorts of things that we do in terms of our support. Over to Naomi.
Awesome. So transform, and this is a lot of why we're here and what we're here for. So we've always had academic design developers and educational designers within the uni, but where we found that things were falling short is that the academic developers and ed designers would design the course, would provide the roadmap, and then hand it to the academics to create. Now, academics didn't have the time or capacity to learn new technologies to use, that sort of thing, didn't have the time to spend creating, troubleshooting, those sorts of things. And that's where our team comes in. We'll create digital learning objects for the academics. It's designed to excite and foster learning in students, improve that learning experience. As Wendy said at the beginning, I've been a serial student for the past decade or so and had great experiences and also had some very poor experiences, particularly during COVID, when lots of people who had been planning to go online with a sort of 5 or 10 year plan, all of a sudden have to do a 5 to 10 day turnaround for what was a 5 or 10 day plan. So we're here to help with that. We provide easy to use designs. So we'll talk to an academic about what they want to look and feel, their semester look and feel. We'll show them different technologies, like here's what it could look like in Blackboard Ultra. Here's what it could look like in H5P. Here's 3 or 4 different options. Which one do you like? Okay, let's go with that. We'll build you the template. We'll show you how we've built it. If you want, we'll build 3 weeks worth of content. Then we will show you how we've done it. We'll hand it to you to edit, or we'll hand it to you to continue for the whole semester, or you don't have time and capacity, we'll build the semester for you. You give us the content and we'll pass it, we'll create it and then hand it to you. We look at accessibility and things like that. We look at like colors and those sorts of things. So here's some ideas of the sorts of numbers of projects. Now, some of these projects are a couple of days to a week. Some of these are months long projects, and they vary in different things, from video creation to actually transforming subject transformations for the whole subject site, for the whole content, those sorts of things. I like to liken us to curators for an art gallery. So the academics create the content and bring the content to us. They bring us the final painted version. They bring us the painted version of their canvas. Then we frame it and figure out where to hang it, how to hang it, and how to display it to the students. So that's the way the analogy I like to use for where our team fits within the academics team as well. Colleen?
And yeah, just to finalise, so in terms of our days, just like the other people who've presented, you know, our days are variable. They're never the same. They have fabulous times when we have great wins, and then other times when it's very frustrating to work on particular things, as everyone would know. So, but we think we add real value to the organisation, and that makes us really enjoy what we do.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you so much, Naomi and Colleen. That was a great presentation, and really enjoyed the detail that you could quickly, you know, dive into from that front sort of dashboard view. So if there's any questions for Naomi and Colleen, please show your appreciation for their presentation using their reactions, and we've got question time really for all the presenters that are still here. I'll start off with a general question. What advice would you give to someone wanting to get started in your field? So this is open to any of the presenters. Just grab the mic. What advice would you give?
I might just say that, look, I think you need to be really keen to help improve that student experience, and whatever skills you have bring to that conversation are really important. But it's also about respecting where people are at, what they can and can't do, and being able to communicate and work with people so that you can actually provide support in a way that meets their needs. And, you know, we know that people are all so individual and so varied in their abilities. And, you know, you can come from a tech background. We've got people in our team who come from a tech background. I come from an education background. As Naomi said, she comes from the vocational corporate area. I don't think there's, you just got to have a willingness to learn new things and be quite agile about that.
Yeah, I think that commonality of flexibility definitely came out today. Does anyone else, anyone on the call? You're welcome to chime in for what advice you'd give to someone to get started in the field, because one of the purposes of today's presentation was to show the breadth and the depth of people in these kind of advisor roles.
If I can just jump in, I think we have to be very open to learning as well. It's never, you know, we bring our backgrounds with us to the role most of the time. Like in my case, having been a discipline-based academic before, I bring that teaching and learning practice to the role that I bring. But when we're working, it's never in the same discipline that we are trained in. So we need to be able to see, okay, that worked in a different context, but right now this is what's going to work. So having that openness and willing to learn has helped a lot more than trying to say, this is one way to do it and this is the only way to get there. Probably won't work that much. So I resonate, and I really truly relate to everyone's experience here, and I think that's my piece.
Yeah, absolutely, Puva. I think the same. You've got to be open-minded because not everyone comes to, well, certainly in terms of technology, not everyone comes with the same technological capabilities or literacy. And that's exactly where our role is. Some academics, we can build a template for them, show them what it could look like, then hand it over with just 1 week, say, here's an empty template, go and fill it, go to your heart's content, come back to us if you have any questions. Some of them we have to build the whole semester or study period for them, then sit with them, show them how to edit it. And then maybe next year, when they want to redesign they've got to switch some weeks up, that sort of thing, showing them how to condense or take apart to eventually, and just that scaffolding and stepping stones. And it's about understanding who we're talking to and what stage on that spectrum they're on, and then provide them with a solution that is appropriate to them. Some of them we may be able to go advanced, like augmented reality, those sorts of things, and they'll just take to it like water. And there are others who Blackboard Ultra is the extent of their capacity, and that's all they'll want to use. And so we've got to weigh that up and figure out what they're most comfortable with.
So I think in some of your responses, you've answered one of the other questions, which is what is the sort of key skills that you use in your role? Diana, do you want to think about one key skill that you use in your role?
Key skill that I use in my role, I would say always try to have a creative thinking cap every time you are doing something. And as we all mentioned, there is no one day there is the same, right? So there is no one problem that is the same as well. So we need to think, it might be we dealing with like different academic, but with the same like issue or the same thing that we are working on, but then the approach can be different for two, or for more different people. So we need to have that thinking cap, like having a creative ways to basically know how to engage with different people. I would say that way.
Thank you. Yes, that's certainly true. So there's a question here for, again, any one of the presenters can jump in. What do you think are the advantages and disadvantages of working in a small institution versus a large institution?
Oh, I can start first. So yeah, and knowing that I just recently moved to UNSW, and it's pretty much a large institution compared to where I came from before. I worked in Macquarie University beforehand. So I would see the difference is a lot of things that are on university level need a lot more consultation coming in the bigger, larger institution. So a lot of consultation needs to be happen with different faculties, because each different faculty might doing their different ways of working themselves. Compared to in the smaller institution, a lot of things are most probably running from the top down, and then be like, so say for example, implementation of new technology normally will be come down from top and then saying, this is what we're going to use. Bang, that's it. So that's what I can see the difference between smaller institution and a larger institution from my side.
Thank you. That was a good insight. Naomi, Colleen, I can see you got your mics off.
I think for me, having only worked for JCU, what I like and appreciate about working for JCU, which I perhaps wouldn't get from being in a larger university, is that we work across all colleges. So previous to this, we were based in colleges before our team got created. And so we've been able to experience a breadth of academics, of content, of different ways of teaching, different student experiences and learning. And so we're able to bring that breadth across to other colleges where they may not know how other colleges work and how other colleges run their content, run their lessons, that sort of thing. And we're able to bring that and kind of be a bridge between those silos that have been there. And I quite like that and enjoy that, being able to say, hey, you're thinking about or using the same technology as this academic's thinking or using. Would you like to have a chat and see what they've found? Because I'd rather them come from an academics point of view rather than me from a learning technologist point of view say, yeah, you should use this technology, it's great, it's been proven, all of this sort of stuff. I'd rather them hear from the academic who's used it, the academic who here are the pitfalls, here's the learning curve, here's the warts and all story, so that then they can do that peer sharing.
I think
Yeah,
if you were to ask,
that's
sorry.
great. Thanks,
Yeah.
Puva. Go ahead.
No, I think for me, having worked in a place where I was just the one learning designer or, leading unit development, stuff like that prior to joining Deakin, and having come into an institution like Deakin is the different support that we get. Everything else, there's someone doing everything else for you. Whereas if you're in a small institution, you are the one person show. You have to do almost everything, and that makes the role quite different for you because you have to think on your feet, make those decisions, and getting the clearance and all that happens later. Whereas here in the bigger institution, things are laid in a way, there are processes to follow, which can sometimes be frustrating, which can sometimes be helpful. So it depends where you are with the project. So that's one thing to note. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
I think that point just made by Puva is really interesting, because at a small university like ours, you can actually be a lot more agile and a bit more quick and a bit more less consultative across the university because of where we sit in an academy. We are basically, two from the top. And so if we want to go and get a new technology, or we've got capacity to do that without having to go through the whole university process. And that's one of the wins I think that we have with our team. But yes, again, that's a small university. We just don't have the same money, unfortunately.
Yeah, great question from Sharon there. And there is one last question that I'd encourage you to look in the chat because you might be able to type in an answer for what is the one resource that you couldn't live without. And I'm just going to finish off this presentation with a bit of a plug, because at the end of the year, there'll be a Third Space Symposium. So it's a one-day event on the 1st of December, and it's a companion piece, I guess, to the Ascolite conference. And so I'll put the link in the chat, and please, keep an eye on this website. We'll be updating it. We'll be putting out expressions of interest. That's sort of the next step. But it will be a face-to-face event at the University of Melbourne, primarily on the 1st of December. But there's also a 2-week slowposium. So I'm heading up that for a more global focus, to have events that are available asynchronously, and there'll be an expression of interest for people that would like to perhaps propose an activity or put in, maybe a pre-recorded something or other. So please keep an eye on this website, and it seems very timely this year that the Third Space term is being put out there a lot more, and I'm just about to head off to a union meeting with, working on the third space working group. So it's timely, and I thank all the presenters today because, Puva, you started off with that terminology and have a very clear identity tag using that. So thank you again to all the presenters, and the recordings will be up given a few days on the TELedvisors YouTube channel, and we'll put in some useful links that we've shared today as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Bye. Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you all.
day. Bye.
Bye.